I was a professional musician for 30 years, a pianist. I worked as an accompanist, which is a very specific specialization of piano playing, accompanying singers, instrumentalists. This was my job at the university, first in Vienna, where I studied, and then here in Chile, where I've been living for the last 20-some years. And I was also on the side, kind of parallel to this, also for 30 years now, a Feldenkrais practitioner, which means that I work with movement, with mindful movement. It helped me a lot in surviving and thriving as a pianist, like organizing myself in a way that works well and where I don't harm myself. And then persistent growth came up with a pandemic when I already left university, quit my professional career as a musician, decided to dedicate myself to Feldenkrais, and very shortly afterwards, the pandemic came and I couldn't give classes anymore. Closed my studio, stopped seeing people one-on-one, and I had to reinvent myself again on the screen. So I was kind of forced into the online medium, and I started experimenting with my students. What can we do online that would make sense? And I found out that people were very stressed. They were confined to their homes for months, sometimes in different parts of the world. It was really difficult for most people, for most of my students, for myself too, to find an hour where we can relax, lie on the floor, take a full Feldenkrais class. It is possible to give a Feldenkrais class online. It works very well because it works with verbal instructions. So you don't really have to see the screen. You can lie on the floor and do the class. But you need some peace of mind, some peace and quiet, like close the door and leave the world outside. And it was very difficult to so many people. And I thought, okay, online, people wouldn't come to my studio and drive here and then drive back home for a very short class. But online, this is ideal. Why don't I make it really as short as possible so that the concentration span can hold it in this very stressful situation, where people can switch in for a short moment to explore themselves in movement, but do it every day. This was the general idea, and I'm trying it with my students and with myself, just reduce it to the minimal viable period of time where something small happens. And I found out, just by trying, that 3 minutes is it. It works. So in 3 minutes, where you can really click the pause button on daily life, on the stress, it's possible to do it for 3 minutes for most people and do it regularly, like every day. And so this is persistent growth. It's kind of an application of the Feldenkrais method to an extreme situation, but also it worked very well in our normal life, if we can call it that. We came back to normal more or less, but it still works very well for people to create the habit of bringing the mind to themselves, pause, explore themselves in movement for a very short period of time, which means that you can manage to stay focused. You train your attention to stay. 3 minutes is possible for most people. And then with the clever ideas that we have in the Feldenkrais method of how to move in ways that are curious, that are pleasurable, that awaken something new, that propose some options, do it for a very short time, do it every day, and it's like taking a tiny step day after day, continuously. It makes up a journey of transformation, and things really happen over time. I found it very useful and very effective. And of course, the idea is not to replace Feldenkrais or replace exercise and just do 3 minutes a day and then sit on your butt the rest of the day. This is not the idea. The idea is to create kind of a basis of mindfulness in movement, which is what we do, and make it a habit. Do it regularly and try to really stick with it, even when you're stressed, even when you're in a hurry, even when you don't feel like it. And when it's only 3 minutes, it's quite possible.